Peace and welcome. The oddly familiar spoke and we listened. If you didn't look at the thumbnail, or the title of the video, or the description, the character episode won the vote. So today, we will be taking a look at the inspirations for some of our favorite video game characters. Or as we call it, Oddly Familiar, Episode 30. Number 10. Biggs and Wedge from Final Fantasy. Our first up today comes from one of my favorite RPG series. These are two reoccurring characters. You can find them in many different Final Fantasy games. For example, in Final Fantasy VII. Or how about Final Fantasy XIV? Or Final Fantasy XV? Biggs and Wedge are named after two Star Wars characters, Biggs Darklighter and Wedge Antilles. They are both Red Squad members, and you can see them when they attack the Death Star in Star Wars A New Hope. Biggs and Wedge from Final Fantasy don't physically resemble Biggs and Wedge from Star Wars, but this was done deliberately to pay homage. Number 9. The Man with the Cigarette from The Town with No Name. Released in 1992 for the Commodore CD-TV, then in 1993 for PC. The player takes control of a character named the Man with No Name. Less than 5 minutes into the game, you run into a character that is known as the Man with the Cigarette. I think the devs had problems with naming things. Even the game itself is titled after a town with no name. Why would you name your game after something that has no name? I think this should be called The Game with No Name. But anyways, the Man with the Cigarette looks a lot like Clint Eastwood in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The beard, the poncho, the hat, and even the angle of this popular shot are all identical. Number 8. Muscle Power of the World Heroes series. Based on wrestler Hulk Hogan, you can see the similarities rather quickly. They are both wrestlers representing America with their receding hairlines and facial hair. Muscle Power has had his look toned down since the first title. They removed his mustache, and some games even changed his hair color. It goes from white to blonde to dirty blonde, depending on what system you are playing on. For his victory pose, Muscle Power screams "Number 1. Number 1. Which is an exact translation of Hulk Hogan's catchphrase Ichiban when he wrestled in Japan in the early 80s. Number 7. Frank Bruno's Boxing, multiple characters. Also known as Frank Bruno's World Championship Boxing, this game was first released in 1985 with later releases in 1988. Released for the Amstrad, the Commodore 64, and the ZX Spectrum. You play as British boxer Frank Bruno as you fight your way through the EVBA, the Elite Video Boxing Association. The first opponent you come across is named the Canadian Crusher. If he doesn't look familiar, let's take a look at Bear Hugger from Super Punch-Out! And Bear Hugger isn't the only one you will notice. Once you reach the second and third fight, you will see Fling Long Chop and Andrei Puncharedov. This one goes well beyond parody or inspiration. They are direct rip-offs. All of these characters first appear in the 1984 arcade game Super Punch-Out! It's simple to see because they didn't change much, if anything. Number 6. Mike of Street Fighter. Making his debut in the first Street Fighter game, the 1987 arcade game. Before Balrog ever existed, there was a different Mike Tyson character in the Street Fighter series. Capcom has stated that Mike and Balrog are two separate characters, and this was confirmed when Balrog had a dream about Mike in Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Both of these characters are based on Mike Tyson, Although I think one was more obvious, Balrog looks like Tyson, while Mike physically doesn't really resemble Tyson all that much. Number 5. Blue Suede Goo of CLAYFIGHTER. Lucky number 7 is an Elvis clone, and this is made more evident by his name, Blue Suede Goo, a parody of the 1956 Elvis Presley song titled Blue Suede Shoes. His original name from the beta version of CLAYFIGHTER was Impersonator, and when you win a match, you will hear him say one of Elvis's most popular phrases.
Win the battle.
Thank you very much.
The white suit he is wearing is also similar to the one that Elvis wore on many occasions, including in Hawaii in 1973 at one of his live shows. Unlucky number 4. Silent Dragon, the boss of Stage 3. Before the stage even begins, you are met with this screen and a familiar face. Compare that to this face here, and what do you think? It's quite similar, a dark helmet with a red face mask, spiked shoulder pads, and even down to the angle of the shot. On the left, we have Joggy from Fist of the North Star, and on the right is Silent Dragon. Now if we take a look at a full body shot of each, you can see the shoulder pads better, plus the vest he wears with it, and even the catcher's shin guards over his pants. Number 3. M. Bison of the Street Fighter series. Our bronze position is held by M. Bison and the character that influenced his look. We have Washizaki, a villain from the manga and anime Riki-oh. Both characters are villains and generally quite strong. There is a reason why they are boss characters. You can see almost instantly that Bison and Washizaki share a similar outfit, from the hat down to the clothes and even the cape. And in the earlier games in the Street Fighter series, M. Bison had a star on his hat just like Washizaki. Now take a look at just their faces. If the clothes didn't convince you, then how about this? They share the same nose, mouth, chin, ears, and eyes. Riki-oh is from 1989 and Street Fighter II is from 1991. So I think it's safe to say Washizaki inspired M. Bison. Number 2. TARIK, the Axe Battler from Golden Axe. Golden Axe has many inspirations, and one that appears more than once in the series is Conan the Barbarian. First, you have a basic stance and a sword being held in the two same positions. And this could be a coincidence, so let's dig a little deeper. During the ending sequence of Golden Axe on the Master System, you will be met with many different shots, so let's go through a few. First, we have the shot of the warrior with the Golden Axe. Now tell me, does that axe look like the double-sided Golden Axe that we are used to, or does it look like it's Conan's? Next, we have the shot of the warrior sitting. First thing I notice is the shoulder pads with the bones near his chest, the crown, the female near his legs, the lions with their ring in their mouth, and the position of his arm and hand holding the weapon. Now compare that to this shot of Arnold. The same shoulder pads with the bones, the crown, the female, the lions, and the rings. I found an interview online where the developer stated, "During the development of Golden Axe, I rented a video of Conan and watched it until the tape was worn." Our top spot today is held by Raiden from Mortal Kombat. One of the original 7 playable characters in the first Mortal Kombat game from 1992. The creator stated they based Raiden's character design on David Lopan's personal bodyguards named the Three Storms, from one of my favorite movies, the 1987 film Big Trouble in Little China, and more specifically, Lightning. His real name in the movie is unknown, but in the credits it does list the 3 storms under the names Rain, Lightning, and Thunder. When it comes to lightning, you can see he resembles Raiden. From being a master of lightning to the hat. And yes, he can fly. At first, Raiden didn't have any armor that would resemble lightning, he just had a plain white suit, but in later installments they did end up giving Raiden some armor. However, it doesn't really come close to looking like lightnings. They have seemed to go in their own direction lately, kind of ditching the look of the 3 storms. But you can still see a little bit of the influence. So another episode is in the books. I want to thank all of you Oddly Familiars for making it through what is our 30th episode of the series. We have always had plans to make a bunch of Oddly episodes, but the thing we didn't think of is how many people would be enjoying the episodes. We will be doing at least one Oddly per month with an occasional second special episode. Anyways, for now, I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.